This is a virtual meeting and occurs monthly and is a forum for updates, discussion, feedback, and Q&A about food programming and other related subject matter. We offer ASL and CART transcription services, and the meeting is recorded so that we can share the meeting along with the presentations and minutes to those who were unable to join us today. The follow-up email will be sent in about a week and will include all of the corresponding documents and links and any other pieces of information you might receive today. At this time, we do ask that you introduce yourself in chat. Please include your name, pronouns, organization, and role. This is helpful to us and to partners for connection purposes. It will also be helpful for our discussion later today so that we can refer back to feedback that you provide and can note where the feedback came from specifically. So definitely appreciate that. I went ahead and put my information in there as well. Today's agenda is going to include information on the Restaurant Meals Program, an update on COFA legislation, tribal consultation updates, and a discussion topic around what you'd like and how you'd like to engage in these SNAP partner meetings. So, without further ado, I saw Heather join us, and she is up first to talk about the Restaurant Meals Program. Heather.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Heather Miles, and I am one of the SNAP program managers. I also manage the Commodity Supplemental Food Program and the Emergency Food Assistance Program. Today, though, I'm here to talk to you a little bit more about the Restaurant Meals Program, which is an addition to some of the options that are available with the SNAP program. In the last 6 months, we've been working pretty hard on looking at the possibilities of what it could mean to really bring a program of this nature to Oregon. And in the last session, we have had the approval to move forward through Senate Bill 1585 and beginning to really explore what that will look like in our state for delivery, to really look at trying to determine pilot sites possibly for this program, and then hopefully to get to a point where we have a statewide program in Oregon. So the Restaurant Meals Program, the Senate bill that I just mentioned, really helps us to establish a couple of core, really important things. Firstly, the establishment of a task force, the Restaurant Meal Program Task Force. That will be a body of individuals who are from a range of different backgrounds and with lived experience. It will include hunger partners like yourselves. It will include some of our business partners. It will include people with lived experience. And equally, we'll be looking at ways in which we can support a really robust implementation plan for what this program could look like in our state. So part of this is really just as a high-level overview for you all. The Restaurant Meals Program has been an option that our Food and Nutrition Services has allowed for the SNAP program. It's focused to really bring hot meals to Oregon for certain key populations. So that really includes households where everybody in that household is either elderly, disabled, or is homeless. That is an incredible opportunity for us to be able to really expand some of the available services for the SNAP program and the ability to use their SNAP dollars in a really different way. What that will look like for us as we kind of move into the next 6 months of work really is pulling together information, data, learning from other states that have administered this program. And there's only about 9 other states in our nation that currently do this. But we'll be meeting with them, we'll learn more about their programs, and we'll learn more about what it will look like to be able to deliver something like this in Oregon. We do have some really interesting kind of like benchmarks along the way of dates that we need to be considering leading into next fall session. And so by January 2025, we are going to be looking at providing a high-level report to the legislature around what an implementation plan in Oregon could look like for this program. So again, this is us having a really unique kind of business opportunity as well with providers in local areas, restaurants and hot food providers that could actually be part of supporting this program locally. We're looking for that special combination of, the demographics of the area. Do we have enough people in that area to help us demonstrate how successful this program could be? And do we have enough businesses in the area to be able to support the outreach to really very vulnerable populations in a different way than the program's been able to do? So as we move forward, we'll be starting this task force, probably launching it next month, which is very quick. We are looking for folks who would like to be part of that task force. We're pulling people together and convening a space where we get to really work through some of the options available to us, some of the data I was just talking about, some of the needs maybe from a systems perspective, from a business perspective, and absolutely centering everything into the people that we want to help the most. So those voices with lived experience are really important in how we actually deliver and shape the program for the future. I have a great amount of enthusiasm for this. We have a team that we're also trying to create. And in the last couple of weeks, we have been doing some interviews for a couple of one permanent position, one limited duration position to support this program. So it's very new. And what I will say is we're going to be in this place together, learning together. As we move our way on through the federal requirements of the program and the state options that we have, we'll have a level of transparency with each other around what's available, what we can do, where we can focus some of our efforts, and really taking your thoughts and your lived experience into the conversations as we put forward recommendations to the legislature. So this is always the perfect place to start some of those conversations. You're vested in the work that we do. You understand the program that we're running, and you have a level of connection to the SNAP program that really helps us to really look at the work we're trying to achieve and the populations that we're trying to reach very specifically about this. And so I'm just going to take a quick moment to look at the chat. I see there's been a couple of things popped into there. Susan. Yes. Again, I think you'd be a great addition to being part of this task force. I really do. Thank you for volunteering. I think, again, different vantages, different understandings of each of the components of this program is going to be really essential in how we move everything forward. I'm happy that we're also going to be including in the task force other agency areas like Youth Experiencing Homelessness program and some of our aging and people with disabilities teammates. They'll be along in this journey with us at the same time. So if you have people that or agencies or businesses that you think would be interested in taking part in a task force of this nature, please reach out to me. Let me know. I'll drop my email in the chat here. I really strongly encourage and welcome you to connect with us. Equally, my intention also is that we'll provide this partner meeting with updates along the way. So you really get to understand kind of what that task force is doing, what we're working through. We know we can't do this alone. We know that we will need all of the help that you can provide, but we also want to make sure that, again, you stay connected with the important work that we're doing. We have been having a lot of conversations around some of the areas like Grants Pass that is experiencing some really different responses to the homelessness crisis our state is experiencing, and how that can also play into the important work that we're trying to do here too. So that has been part of our discussion, Susan. It's been absolutely front and center. And that's certainly part of the components that we're looking at, as this is part of those priority populations we're really trying to reach differently with this program. So I'm going to pause slightly and see if anyone else has any questions about the restaurant meal program. If you have any desire, willingness, want to be involved in the task force, please let me know. And I also recognize this is a lot of information to take in all at once. So this isn't going to be the only time that I mention it, and it's not going to be the only time we talk about it. So if at any point you want to engage a little bit later down the road, once the task force is already up and running, please keep my email to hand, reach out, or reach out to some of the other members who will be on the task force as well. Like I say, we're very, very grateful for the involvement of some of our hunger partners already. And we are trying to make more connections with some of our business community, which is not traditionally an area of our work that we've had as many direct lines of contact with as we will have because of this program. So it's exciting. We're excited about the opportunities that are coming. And we're really looking forward to being able to hopefully provide this program in Oregon in the near future. So if there's no other questions, at least for now, I know you will have questions in the future. I'll pass it over to Tracy, who can give some updates on the policy changes for COFA and the SNAP program. Tracy, are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready. Hi,
All right.
everyone. My name is Tracy Miller. I'm with the SNAP policy team, and our policy unit received our guidance from our federal partners as of last week in regards to the Compact for Free Association or COFA individuals. Our guidance that we received was that if an individual had requested benefits from the date the law was passed, March 9th, and the time we got the guidance as of last week, they can request a hearing for us to review their original request or submit a new application and reapply. And of course, at any time, anybody can reapply. We do have a group of staff who are working the list of individuals who had requested benefits from March 9th to last week. And they're reaching out to them to see which avenue they want to go down. We've provided staff with the guidance on how to, if they want to go down a hearing, staff will address that as needed. So we have the guidance now. Those individuals can apply, apply through applicant portal or any of the other avenues we can apply for benefits. Any questions?
Don't see any questions right now.
If there are any questions, you can reach out.
All right, thank you, Tracy. Appreciate that. All right. Well, up next, we have some updates on tribal consultation. We had a couple of tribal leader letters go out. And so I think up first we have Sarah to talk about one of those letters.
Yeah, thank you, Misha. And I'll do my best to give an overview of the letter that we sent out. But Heather, Adam, feel free to jump in anytime if you're like, hey, you missed this part, or I wanted to pop this in, feel free to jump in. But hello, everyone. Just double checking. I don't know if I know all of you. My name is Sarah Cleaver, and I am one of the SNAP Employment and Training Policy Analysts. So I'm going to share a little bit about the combined SNAP program tribal consultation, which recently happened. I believe that you've heard from some others talking about tribal consultation, but just as like a super quick refresh, tribal consultation is a federal requirement. And Oregon recently, in January of this year, updated our ODHS and OHA tribal consultation policy. So we know that it's super vital to get input from the tribes, from the tribal members, their descendants, affiliates, and communities. So we can focus on engaging and consulting thoughtfully Also providing or making sure that we're hitting all of those federal requirements. So taking all that into consideration, we decided to do a combined letter with SNAP operations, SNAP education, and SNAP employment and training. So that said, there are a bunch of federal SNAP program requirements that we just can't change, like program eligibility requirements. But there are a number of state options that we can look at, and internal processes or program processes where we're open to feedback. We definitely always make sure that any state options that we are selecting or processes that we're implementing are being done so with participants' best interest in the forefront. Also, that said, we're human, right? We might not have every single perspective or every viewpoint in consideration. That's why we're soliciting this consultation. So to invite that feedback, we sent a formal Dear Tribal Leader letter on June 18. So again, that included SNAP operations, SNAP Ed, and SNAP E&T. In that letter, it kind of outlined everything that we could change, specifically what we're looking for feedback on. And we also included, we call them one-pagers, but it's hard to one-page an entire SNAP program. So we said one-pagers with a little bit of a loose definition, but kind of a program overview so the tribal leaders had a better understanding of kind of the entire program and specifically what we were looking for input on. In addition to the letter, we actually also hosted 2 Zoom meetings on, let's see, it was June 26th and July 11th. We invited those tribal leaders to attend, ask questions if they were interested, hear more about the program, and talk more about those consultation options. Now, we hosted those understanding that leaders are extremely busy. We know they're getting a ton of requests for consultation. They have a lot going on in their own nations. So, hosted those with the ability to attend if they were interested. We didn't get any folks attend, but we did, we tried to record the session, but we had some sound issues, which technology, it happens. But we did send out all of those slide decks to those tribal leaders so they had that additional information available. So just holding that space to see if anyone had any questions. I'll speak a little bit specifically for SNAP employment and training, or SNAP E&T. We are requesting a consultation on our SNAP E&T provider proposal narrative. So that's that written application that all of our contracted providers have to do each year. And we're looking for feedback from tribes to say, are we asking the right questions? Are we getting at the kind of services that are important, that are needed in your areas, in your communities? Tell us if there's things that we need to alter or change about how we're asking these questions or how we're talking about these different services that we have available. And then I'll pause a little bit. Heather or Adam, did you want to talk a little bit about what SNAP or what SNAP Ed was asking for with the consultation? Just if you want the space, you're welcome to it.
Sure. Yeah. This is Adam for SNAP Ed. We are really kind of looking for very similar stuff. We want to, our services, we provide nutrition education, and we want to do that in a way that's going to be, that works for you. It's not a one size fits all kind of thing. And so that was one of the things we were really excited to get input from tribal communities on. I want to add to what Sarah was saying. We did the Dear Tribal Leader letter and we sent those out, but it is not at all okay, we sent the letter and we're done. These are continuing conversations. We continue to reach out and have communication back and forth. Speaking for SNAP Ed specifically, we have stuff going on in our different units throughout the state, different activities, different classes. So there's things happening on a level that's may not necessarily be reflected in people coming to listen to the letter. There's still lots of communication and working together going on. So I just wanted to point that out too.
Yeah, that's such a valid point, Adam, and same for SNAP E&T. With the help of our tribal liaisons, we're reaching out to tribal leaders. I've made a few connections throughout the year, and it's just this ongoing, relationship building and engagement, and saying, hey, this is what we have to offer. These are our current providers. Can I get you in touch with anyone? Do any of the tribal members need any of these services? We have some of our contractors have mobile training units that can come directly to you. Is that is that something that you're interested in? So, like Adam said, it's not just, yep, check the box, we did it. Absolutely not. That is not the intent. We're always open to feedback. We're always going to keep communicating, keep engaging, keep having these conversations, and still keep on with that formal consultation requirement. We're gonna do that every single year, and hopefully streamline the process a little bit better. It was a little bumpy. I will be the first to admit it didn't go off exactly as planned without a hitch, but we're learning and we're open to feedback. So really appreciate the opportunity. And then Heather, if you wanted to add anything, feel free to jump in as well.
I think just one thing to add, really. I think it's truly us trying to approach the work that we're doing here together in shared spaces in very different ways and with different intent. And, and this process has, always brings to the forefront for us ways in which we can deliver services differently, or ways in which we can expand the program in ways that really supports communities in a different way. And we really want to hear from everyone here as well, different topics that you would like for us to approach, things that you may be curious about, learning more about our programs or aspects of it, why policies are the way they are sometimes, and which parts of it do we have a level of control over within our state. As many of us have discovered, I think, in the journey of working with SNAP, so much of what we do is directed by Congress or our federal partners, but there are some choices along the way that as a state we have some level of control in being able to make some selections, and that's really where we'd love to have more of your input in that. When we're given two options, having some guidance from you all as to which is your preferred option in the suite that's available to us is really helpful in making sure that we're listening to the communities we're really trying to help and serve. Misha, I see your hand up.
Thanks. Sarah, I appreciate that you did some background on tribal consultation, since it's been a little while since we had our presentation on that. Could you or Heather speak to a little bit more about what the tribal leader letter is, the purpose of that, and what goes into that, just so folks have that information?
I can take a stab at it. Yeah, for sure. So the Dear Tribal Leader Letter, it's a very specific title because we are reaching out to those tribal nations. We are reaching out to them with formal consultation. It's a very formal process. It's not me reaching out to, just an individual, who runs a tribe's workforce development project. I'm not just reaching out to that person and having a conversation. This is a very formal process where we have a certain time frame where we need to send a letter out. Tribes have a certain time frame when they can receive the information, digest the information, reach back out and provide feedback. So it's all on kind of like this timed loop. It has different requirements, but what we're doing with tribal consultation is part of, like I had mentioned, the federal requirement and the state policy that we are reaching out to our neighbors and saying, hey, like this is the program that is available in the state. We need to know what is working for you. So in a very, very thin nutshell, that's our obligation is we need to do this, and we want to do this. We need to do this. It's like I said, it's absolutely vital to get input, because without it, what are we doing here? We're offering these programs to folks in communities. We need to hear from the communities. We need to know what's having a positive impact and what maybe we can change.
There is a question in chat. Would you like me to read that?
Oh, how many tribes received the letter? So Oregon's 9 federally recognized tribes received the letter. And we haven't got any responses. I haven't heard of anything. Adam, Heather, I don't think I haven't heard anything from our tribal liaison office, but we haven't had any feedback received to date, as far as I'm aware. But we will keep asking. The door is always open. Thank you.
Sarah, did anybody have any other questions?
there's
All
any
right.
questions for the SNAP Employment and Training Program, I will put our team email in the chat for folks.
Thank you for that. All right. Well, with that, we're going to move on to our discussion topic. So we're running a little bit ahead of schedule, which just means we have more time to discuss and have some great conversations, which is awesome because I feel like sometimes we run out of time and we can't spend as much time with that. So we wanted to take time to check in with everybody about this